What's up, YouTube family? I'm back at you like I'm mad at you. And I already know I need to be back at you a little more often, family. Be honest with you, I felt like a little deterred, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like my videos wasn't getting pushed enough to really get it out there. I want the people to really get it, especially when I really go there, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when I got on certain topics, family, they just, you know what I'm saying, slow my algorithm down. But you know what? It's all good. I'm going to get it to y'all anyway, family, man, because I know that, you know what I'm saying, y'all deserve it. Put it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's really bigger than, you know what I'm saying, trying to blow up a channel and all that, family. I really want the video to spread, like messages to spread. You know what I'm saying? But I notice when I put certain messages out there, they get to playing with it. So anyway, family, I'm gonna make sure I get to you. Start getting these videos out to you anyway, man. I made up my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure I consistently and continually still get to the, you know what I'm saying, the family on the Irons family. So this video I want to make this a part 3 to, you know, the information you choose is like the God you choose, family. Because I wanted to talk about, like we was talking about information as far as, you know, things that, I mean, that what forms the inner you. And we was talking about, you know, getting the information from different sources, right? You know, we hear it sometimes, and we watch, you know what I'm saying, the videos, we listen to audios, and but I want to point out the inner being as well. Like much information can also come from within, right? And whether it's the truth or a lie, it don't necessarily have to be something that you hear on this or read, right? Hear on some kind of audio or read in a book. Some information also that we download, right, or that we receive comes from within, right? Because that's a big part of, family, how I assess the truth and how I receive light and so forth. You know, it's not always a thing that I'm getting from somewhere else, right? And so remember, you know, sometimes it's just a knowing. Remember, the Most High is in the knowing. Remember, faith is knowing. And so what it means that the scriptures say faith come by hearing, and hearing the word of God is pretty much saying knowing comes by hearing, right? It's a difference between listening and knowing. You know what I'm saying? Listening and hearing. Because you hear to know, right? To be reminded, right? Listening, when you look at the word backwards, it means to listen means to enlist, right? Like when you're being enlisted in the military, that means to be recruited, in other words. So this is what's happening, family, all over the world by way of information. A lot of you are listening to things that are that are forming the inner you, right? From different sources that are shaping and forming the inner you, right? Because we know what it means to inform, right? So I'm formation is like to say that you're that clay, right? And when you listening to things and information, you also being enlisted, right? So, so again, hearing and listening is two different things. But I want you to realize that when you sometimes you get because I want to be a witness to you guys that you can truly hear from a divine source. When I say divine source within you, outside of anything else external from you, outside of any apps or your phone or the internet and so forth. You can really and truly, this is what really based my like journey in the way that it is now, because I started hearing on the inside. I was being led, guided, and enlightened from within. And it was sometimes, many times, I would know about how profound things was, right? So you can truly, I want y'all to know if you concerning that video, the information you choose is the God you choose. If you concerned about where you get your information from, I bear witness to the true source, the one and true source that had awakened me, that had knocked on my door, right? That had enlightened me and empowered me. And that source is on the inside as well as above, family. It came to me from above and as well as within me, family. And that's a very significant thing to be mindful of when you are accumulating different kind of information. It's very significant that you be mindful of lies. Anything that you anything dealing with a lie, family, can lead to demonic activities in your life. It can lead to demonic experiences. You know what I mean, and so forth. I've been, the old man been there before, right, family? I've had some times where, I was in error with what I was believing to be true, and it creates because if you remember anything about the way we break down the spirit, right, from what it means to be spiritual and so forth, in that same way that he was worried about poverty is that poverty. In the same way he was being lied to, right, or lying to yourself. One of the things you don't want to do is lie to yourself. And sometimes you might adopt lies and convince yourself these lies. You don't want to do that, because that right there will begin to be a voice in your head that will lead you astray as well. You ever see all these crazy just amazing occurrences that happen across the world, things that people do? I can almost guarantee you, family, that outside of drugs, most of these people involved in some of these wild, events, right, that had happened. When people did crazy stuff to their relatives, to their babies, to this, to that, all kind of stuff, right? I can almost guarantee, even to themselves, some of them, even when you see someone commit suicide, I can almost 100% guarantee you, family, that these people were lying to themselves, or they were listening to a lying voice in their head. It's just like when somebody commits suicide, because the difference between the information is either it's true or it's false. That's what I'm saying. It's either a lie or it's true, right? It's either deceiving or it's the truth. Well, when it's deceiving and it's dealing with lies, it can lead to people doing crazy stuff because they believe in something that they hearing on the inside. They believe that it is so sure that this is what's going on in their world, and the whole time it's just a voice which derives from their own belief in a lie, or them choosing to lie to themselves. It is a created spirit within their frequency realm, right? And within their vibration that is speaking to them. Somebody commits suicide. I was trying to say that many times it's something telling them their life is worthless, their life is over, life ain't worth living, something like that. And they really feed into it. That voice is going down everything they did bad, or every which way they dropped the ball, or where they failed, or something like that. It's lying to them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes these lies start with your own parents. This is the reason why scriptures say don't spoil children and all that. You know what I'm saying? Another way to spoil children is not to ever hold them accountable, right? Not to ever give them responsibility, because when you lack giving a child responsibility and accountability, they grew up lacking the ability to respond. So the reason why you don't want to do that is because when you lie to a child, and every time something goes on in their life and you saying, oh, it ain't your fault, you develop a habit. Your whole, you and whoever else, y'all develop a habit, and telling each other they're never wrong. You see what I'm saying? You didn't do nothing wrong. You didn't do nothing wrong. You didn't do nothing wrong. It's his fault. It's her fault. You always find somebody else's fault to be at fault, right? You don't teach your child to you pretty much teaching your child to not look within. Anytime something happens in their world, you're telling them to look external from them. You see what I'm saying? See, now that right there contradicts the Bible. That contradicts the scriptures in the Bible, and it contradicts what many proclaim or think they believe in. You know, looking within is very significant. Even the scriptures say, evaluate yourself, right? It says examine yourself. That's what it says. Examine yourself. You know, I think that's in the book of Matthew. It's in the New Testament. Examine yourself. When you constantly, that's a different way of spoiling a child or spoiling a person. When you constantly spoiling somebody by never allowing them to be responsible on their own or to be held accountable for something, they develop a life pattern and so forth, always blaming somebody else for something. You know what that means? They never grow. They never grow within themselves, and they grow up lacking the ability to respond. And also, you can do this like grown men can do this to so-called grown women. I didn't say adults, but they can do it to grown women, and by way of lying to them. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, not lying to them. I mean to say, yeah, lying to them as well. But they can do it by way of always taking the responsibility from a person, like always saving them out of situations and stuff like that. You know, if you spoil a grown person, right? Because you know how some grown people out here, they want to be spoiled, right? If you spoil them and you always saving them and, you know, getting them out of situations that would have taught them how to get up on their own, right? That would have taught them how to push weight or release burdens themselves. That would have taught them to calm storms by themselves. When you always there saving them, you know, these people, when you're not there, they sometimes not know what to do, right? They would sometimes find themselves in limbo because you're always there saving them. And so, you know, it's different ways you can spoil a person is what I'm saying, family. You can spoil someone, and these lead to people lying to themselves, right? Because they've been lied to, you know what I mean? And not only that, now they lying to themselves. That can create demonic activity and experiences in your life, family. And I want y'all to get that, because we're talking about information you choose, God you choose. And that information also comes from within. And one thing you don't want to do, if you don't want any like demonic experiences in your life, is you don't want to be hearing something on the inside of your mind or brain and it's a lie. You know what I mean? Because many of those lies come through by way of your agreement, right? You know, a lie comes through and enters in your mind by way of your agreement, right? By way of you being a liar or something like that, right? Or somebody lying to you, you agreed with, you know, you believed it, right? Because if you believed it, you probably agreed with it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful of the internal downloads as well when it comes to information and the God you choose. And this is very significant because these different levels of information, these different ways that we can accumulate information varies, you know. So you have the external source, and you also have the internal sources. You see what I'm saying? And Satan, remember that story of Job? He was going to and fro, and he ran into God and all that. That was in Job's head, right? In his mind somewhere. In his mind, which is in the whole body, but it was in there somewhere. And he was fearing of everything that came upon him because he feared it. So he allowed that thought to come in. So I'm just letting y'all know that, man, part 3, man, like, it's different It's not just external information that you get externally, but also the information that you get internally. To the next video. Peace, positivity, optimism, power, and abundance. War.